News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
So there are autopsy reports coming out now about George Floyd. And, you know, I'm not sure who was or was not calling into question, but the death of George Floyd on May 25th at the hands of the Minneapolis police was a homicide, according to two separate autopsies that was revealed Monday. According to an independent autopsy commissioned by Floyd's family, his death was due to asphyxia caused by compression to his neck and back that led to a lack of blood flow to his brain. A second autopsy done by Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office said that Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement, subdual restraint, and neck compression while he was being held down by the police. So some information coming out that he had some, underlying conditions, but it certainly would constrict any of our airways if there was a knee on our neck.
I talked to Drew about it. He had some underlying stuff. He also evidently had some fentanyl in him, but that's not why he died. It's still having the knee and the neck is what got him, according to Dr. Drew. I also then said to Dr. Drew, fentanyl, is that now going to be like, when they swab down a phone or computer keyboard and they find traces of fecal matter on it? Like, is everyone just in America going to have little traces of fentanyl in them? Because
supposedly every dollar bill has a $100 bill has cocaine on it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's murder. It's a cop. I had a theory. Whenever somebody does something that seems like it defies logic with witnesses, like, you tell me about autoerotic asphyxiation, pardon the connection, but you tell me about that, it makes sense all day long. You tell me about that with people watching and filming, it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, that cop had his knee on that guy's neck for so long in front of so many people and were being filmed by those people.
And just committed.
Like
almost 9 minutes.
My theory is my Mr. Walters theory. It's my gym coach, where the more you would push back on him, the more demerit points you got. Like, if you question him, you got more, which is part of what goes along. And I said to Chris, Chris, just get 30 seconds. I wanted to hear what the crowd was saying to him, because the crowd saying get off him meant I'm going to add 2 minutes for every time one of you civilians tells me what to do. Every time,
like the principal from the Breakfast Club.
Right.
You want another Saturday?
And they were calling him like a bum, like they called the officer a bum or something, and I think all that did was agitate him and make him do it longer to defy the people that were around him. I'll put together a little montage of
which
the
is exactly
sounds
what
of
you want in a cop, by the way. Just somebody whose ego gets in the way.
Right.
Bro, you could get him off the ground. You've been a bum right now. You could have put him in the car by now, bro. He's not resisting arrest or nothing.
Talking now? Bro, get the off of him.
Get
off of him now. What is wrong with y'all?
What
the He got made.
Bro, he has not moved not one time. He's not moving.
Let's stay put here. I tell my partners and them.
Bro, he's not even moving. Get off of
We'll figure things out,
neck,
right?
bro. You gonna just sit there with your knee on his neck, bro. You a real man for that, bro. He ain't handcuffed, bro.
Just
a real man.
All right, it's hard to listen to, but I'm sticking with my theory. The more that guy was such a prick, the more sort of civilians, the people he has dominion over, and maybe
chimed in.
Many black people, the more people told him what to do, the less he was tended to do it.
He was digging in.
Yep.
Yeah, he just looked at him.
And the next argument, once we get him all settled up, is what's up with his brothers, just kind of hanging around and
that is like, I mean, look, him driving his knee into the neck like that is just so inexcusable. And one of my best friends, a cop out here, and he was just like, and I think there's been cops who've posted videos about it, saying that it's like, once you get him detained like that, there's no reason to be continuing to drive home the point like that, especially when they're not resisting. They're saying they can't. It just goes against everything that they're taught. The guy, like, the dude that's just holding down the fort and kind of
nothing to see here, please disperse.
Oh, I mean, like that's, you just wonder, like, was he afraid to speak up to that cop? Like, what's their dynamic? Like, obviously the guy on the ground pulling out the mace, like,
he didn't look,
unfortunately,
the other cops didn't look bright. That's number one. Like they had a very vacant, like, weird look.
Told what to do. Like, we got the guard and protect,
I'm telling you, I am wired to hate the people who stand around in uniform in this case and not do anything. The guy with the knee in the neck, that guy's a psychopath. What are the excuses for the other three people that did nothing? And there was a case many years ago. It was that Vegas case. It was a crazy case. It was like 4 a.m. Some dude had gone in to gamble at one of those like Cactus Pete's or Binion's or something, like kind of off-brand.
Terribles.
A guy had gone in at one of those border places, Nevada border places, to gamble at like 4 a.m. And, of course, he brought his 6-year-old with him. Oh. And then, of course, he was going to gamble all night, let her run around. She ran into a restaurant. No, sorry. She ran into a restroom.
The bathroom.
The weird 19-year-old dude like showed up with his friend. The one guy goes into the bathroom, kills her. I don't know if he raped her and killed her, but he kills her. The other guy just kind of stands by the door, and they don't charge the other guy. And when they're interviewing the other guy, he's kind of non-committal about it. He's like, yeah, my buddy went in there, he's taking care of business. Like, hey, it's, I'm not going to tell him what. And people kept going like, well, didn't you think it was your job to tell him? It's like, hey, man, it's not my job. Not my job. And everyone hated him, and he tried to get into Cal Berkeley, and they tried to eject him from there's like a big petition and everything. But I don't know if you guys are like me. I can wrap my mind around the homicidal cop, and I can wrap my mind around the weird serial killer, rapist, casino guy.
We've seen that.
I can't wrap my mind around the regular person who stands there and just goes, hey, man, no harm,
and
no
there
foul.
was three, like not, and even if it was two, you go, yeah, well, good. Of course, there was going to be one that was going to chime in and actually, take some action and be like, yo, dude, you got him. Like, I'm still going to be a fucking disciplined cop and kind of a dick, but even for me, this is too much.
Well, I've said many times, criminals don't fear the camera like we thought they would. We thought we'd put surveillance and Ring doorbell stuff up, and every liquor store would have and they just went, fuck it. We're going to go loot this van store, and you can just film us doing it. They don't fear it. The cops don't have the right relationship with the camera either. There's people filming you for fucking 10 minutes while your knee's on this guy's neck. You're not thinking about the consequences of that?
Well, do you think he just thought, like, I'm gonna get away with, like, they're gonna, like, there's enough for me to say that he was doing that they don't have on camera, or that he did prior to this? Like, maybe they just pulled it out at a time where he can be like, well, before this, you didn't see he was doing this. And also,
before this, you were tussling with him inside the car.
Yeah, no shit.
But that's the, you bring up a really good point, Adam Ray, about the, like the peer pressure aspect, because you think of like isn't it called the Milgram experiment? That famous experiment where they pretended there was another person in another room being shocked. And, keep turning it up. And you hear someone screaming, they're an actor, but the test subject doesn't know that. Like, no, he's fine. I'm like, I don't feel good about this, but they keep turning it up because they're being told to.
Yeah, they're ordered to.
Yeah, they're ordered to. They're pressured to. They're going, I don't feel good about it. It's fine. So the peer pressure, they just keep turning up while this person's screaming for their life. Obviously not real, but they don't know that. So in this situation, these cops who AdamCarolla, you mentioned, don't look like they graduated at the top of their class. And maybe this guy is kind of the boss man, the bully. There's a crowd. They don't want to look weak. They don't want to look like they're turning on a fellow officer. It's like they just went dead. They just went blank.
The case I was talking about was from 1997 from Prim, Nevada, 7-year-old girl. And the guy his friend went in and molested and killed her. She was 7. And then the guy was never prosecuted. The guy was just hanging out in front of the bathroom. And then later on, when he got interviewed a few weeks later by the LA Times, he's like, I don't dwell on it.
Yeah, he's quoted saying, I'm not going to get upset over somebody else's life. I just worry about myself first. I'm not going to lose sleep over somebody else's problems.
So he's a psychopath too.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way in this climate with what's going on now, those dudes are going to walk. Is there?
No way. No way. Look, even if it's just a business decision, like, hey, sorry, but we can't have the entire country burned down. They can't do it.
Question: how much? And this is obviously like, not citizen responsibility, but how? I don't know how many people were on looking, but I mean, what has to happen has there been any discussion about like, obviously the people watching knew that if they were to intervene or finally just say, hey, enough's enough, they would run in there. But like when he pulled the mace out, it was like, because you have to wonder too, like, all right, they are filming. If somebody were to like jump in there and at least try to get him off his neck momentarily, would he put his knee back? Would he?
Then you're next.
Would he shoot that onlooker? Would he what could he like in that moment? I guess there's so much to take in, but I'm watching being like, I wonder what those cops really would. I mean, probably the guy holding front at the in front of George Floyd probably would have like tackled him on the ground, and done the same thing, but or maybe that would have caused enough of a commotion to get them off. And then what? He goes to jail for the night, and then everyone sees the tape and they go, all right, well, this guy clearly didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to save a life. But
the reality is sadly, I mean, you can't expect them to fight the cops, but sadly, if they all just walked away, I bet he would have lifted his knee moments after that.
Wow, you think?
I think he was doing it as a display of power. I think the more
proving a point,
more because they were using expletives, they were calling him a bum. They were saying they were right, but what I'm saying is that guy's a bad dude, and that guy is wired. His wiring is faulty, and the more they called him an asshole and a bum and told him you can't do this, the longer he stayed. If everyone, let's just say hypothetically, everyone just walked away. Everyone just walked away in minute 2. You think he would have?
Who's he doing it for?
Just sat there for another 6 minutes. I think he was
has no audience.
Sending a message, sad message.
When someone's tripping on power, the last thing they want to do, right, is
relent.
And go, you know what? I was being, especially, unfortunately, we've been conditioned to see this from cops in, countless videos and shows where it's just like, how many, one in a blue moon that's going to go, fuck, and stand up at like, there was no scenario where he pulls his leg up and just goes, God, I'm so, guys, I fucked up. And even if he doesn't say that and really kind of just, drop any sort of, front of how authoritative he is, but at least to acknowledge that in the moment. Because I also find it hard to believe that, just being a fucking human being, that he didn't feel the moment and go, there wasn't a part of him that was like, fuck, like,
well, he's had other, he's had other, like maybe like a dozen other complaints against him. It sounded like none of them had been followed through with any sort of disciplinary action, but other people have made complaints. And
was he just so deep into it that he was like, I can't let up now and apologize?
Well, let me explain.
Like an apologizer.
Let me explain what I think happens. Cops, the reason shit turns into shit is because cops grab someone and they start going, I'm going to handcuff you, or I'm going to put you up against the wall or the hood of the car, and then the person pushes back, and then the cops escalate quickly, right? So what's happening is the cops go, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to get you out of the car. I'm going to put you up against the wall. I'm going to handcuff you. And the second you say to that cop, no, or pull back or push off, it goes from 0 to 100 in a tenth of a second, right? It's full escalation. Mm-hmm. And what was going on there started as a physical escalation. Like, we want to get you in the car. I'm claustrophobic. I don't want to get in the car. So it starts as a physical thing. Next thing you know, he's on the ground with the knee on the neck. From that point on, it's emotional and verbal. Those people are going, hey, asshole, get off of him. And he's going, how do you like me now, bitches? Look at me. Look at this smile. Not the smile, but the look he had on his face of defiance. Yeah. And I believe that the more they told him what to do or what not to do or how to do his job, the more he just looked at him.
Fire.
And then he was like, get your camera out. Get a picture of it. Because you don't tell me what to do. That's what the cops do. You don't, you ever have a situation where a cop goes, hey, can I have license and ID? And you go, hey, can I ask you what your badge number is? Or it's immediately, it's on. It's immediately on. You've defied them. Yep. You've told them what to do. They're in that position because they tell you what to do. And he was looking at that crowd for an incredibly long period of time in this insane position, sending a message to them that you're not my boss. I do what I do, and you don't tell me what to do. I think that's what happened.
Way to do it. Yeah, you're probably
right.
Well,
I think a message has been sent back.
Yes. Well,
last
bad
week
decision.
Or so.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Well, can I just give an update on his wife or soon-to-be ex-wife?
Yeah.
Oh, she changed her name, right?
Exactly. So I mentioned the other day she's filing for divorce.
Good.
But in the divorce from Derek Chauvin, Kelly requested a last name change and titles to both of their houses. She's been separated from her husband since May 28th, the day before he was charged with third-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter. The filing cites an irretrievable breakdown of the marriage that was beyond saving.
I'd like her. I don't know what she's doing, but if she wants to make $500 fast, she should come by my house.
Saw pictures of her feet.
I know where you're going.
I'll have her and Lynette sit down on the foot of the bed, and then we'll do a little game called "Why is Your Husband a Dick?" And then Lynette will go first, and she'll go, well, this time we went to Costner's Ranch in Ventura County on the beach. We were supposed to stay as double wide after eating dinner with Kevin Costner. And when we got back to the double wide with the kids, my husband, Adam, wanted to drive back to Los Angeles and sleep in our own beds. It really upset the kids. Okay, your turn.
Your turn.
You go.
Mrs. Chauvin, soon to be Smith, please.
Where do I start? I think she's like a pageant queen.
Yeah, I'm going to scoop that shit up.
Yeah.
I'm coming out to Minnesota.
You swoop in?
By the way,
in.
This guy had shown some sort of this couldn't just be like all of a sudden out of nowhere. She was like, he was a great guy. He was like romantic and Valentine's Day, he laid out rose petals and he was a little aggressive in the shout. There's got to be something that came up that couldn't have been a complete blindside on this, right?
Well, and you know what, Adam, you're going to love her more because she doesn't want a dime from him, apparently. She does very well as a realtor.
Fuck yeah.
And according to the filing, she doesn't want spousal support. She just wants out. She wants the house and she wants her name changed. She wants to basically start over.
Mic drop.
Former Miss Minnesota. Or Mrs. Minnesota. Is that Mrs. Minnesota? Yeah, she's Mrs. Minnesota.
Mrs. Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Well, she's single.
How do you determine Mrs. versus Miss? Yeah, there's got to be a lot of. There's got to be some. There's got to be some single celebs out there that are looking for love and have a.
Maybe we go full
crown fetish.
We go full circle and get her with Kaepernick. You know what I mean? Like we really.
Oh wow, power couple.
Yeah, like we really. Wow. And you want to really punish that racist cop? Sure. Doing a few years a hard time is good, but blowing Kaepernick, that's better.
Grind his gears.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, grind his gears. Right.
Oh man. Yeah, he's gonna have a rough time in jail for sure, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. What else? We got one more?
Sure. So let's shine a little bit of light before we get out of here on today's COVID-19 winner. We have some breaking Carol Baskin news. That bitch Carol Baskin.
Oh yeah.
What'd she do?
Well, it's what she's gonna get. Carol is
not my zoo.
victory over her arch nemesis, Joe Exotic, after a court ruling that will allow her to take over his zoo in Oklahoma.
No.
Yep. The New York Post reports that a federal judge granted Baskin's Big Cat Rescue control of the Memorial Park in Wynwood, Oklahoma.
By the way, Big Cat Rescue sounds like a towing company, right?
Like,
Yeah, he needs to change it to like Baskin's Pussy Farm.
Right. Doug and Ernie over there work for Big Cats Rescue. They do. Well, they don't do. They do a lot of 18-wheelers. You know,
we got a
school
stalled
buses,
semi out on the highway.
stuff like that. They don't do like compact cars, residential type stuff. But Big Cat, you know, like the other day there was some black ice on the ground, and a 18-wheeler cab went right over the edge, and only Big Cat Rescue could get that thing back up on the highway. Yeah,
that's right.
Sounds like like a History Channel show, like This Week on Big Cat Rescue, and the guy's like,
Yes.
the tensile strength on that cable's only 17,000 pounds. That rig's 200,000 pounds. It'll show the thing teetering.
That's
Or
right.
it's like some weird sort of like, Dog the Bounty Hunter type guy who calls himself Big Cat.
Yeah, calls himself Cat.
And he wears like
Yeah.
overalls with no shirt, but his rescue is like a different type of rescue. He's like, well, I'm trying to rescue couples whose marriages are on the skids. So we got Ron and Debbie, and they've been unhappy for about 15 years, and so they called in the experts, Big Cat.
It's all
I'm
good.
gonna rescue their marriage. Yeah, it's all good.
Well,
either way. Well, good for her.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but it made me think of like getting Al Capone on a tax charge. This is basically she's wanted to take this zoo from him for years. You know,
all she
for
wanted.
claims of abuse, whatever. She got it because apparently the property, the zoo, was fraudulently transferred years ago to Joe's mother in order to avoid paying Baskin for a $1 million trademark judgment. So it was kind of one of those loopholes, basically just paying her back. Joe, as you know, rose to fame, Tiger King. He was convicted last year for attempting to kill Carol Baskin, that bitch, by hiring a hitman and is currently serving a 22-year sentence.
What do we know anything about the hitman?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was all over the series.
Oh,
he
he
is.
was?
Talk about dead-eyed.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
shit, he's terrifying.
Yeah, that guy was a fucking specimen if you've ever seen one. He was like Jason Momoa's stunt double if Jason Momoa was playing a Nazi.
Yeah, or if like Jason Momoa is doing something from Deliverance, like a one-man play.
I don't know etiquette. Can you haggle with hitmen? Like when they go, I need 5,000
hitmen. Great show, Haggling Hitmen.
Well, they go like, it'd be like Pawn Stars. You know, they go like, I need $5,000 up front, $5,000 when the job's done. Okay?
Yeah. And JPEG sent to my Yahoo.
And then
there he is.
I mean, but can you say, how about $3,500 up front and $5,000 upon completion? Like, this isn't an exact science. There's not a lot of comps. You know what I mean?
But you're arguing with a cold-blooded killer that has zero regard for human life, so maybe he's not the one to haggle with.
Yeah.
Just something to think about. I'm trying to protect you from yourself.
Haggle at your own risk.
Yeah.
But my argument to that is if you have taken up contract killing, like kind of low-grade contract killing, not cool mafioso stuff, low pedestrian contract killing, you're cash-strapped. You could use some cash. You're late on a mortgage payment if that's your business. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So
there might be some wiggle room.
I think it's dealing days. I think I got you. I think it's a buyer's market.
Well, what's exciting about this story also, Gina Grad, is that Carol Baskin's husband, I'm going to have an exclusive sit-down interview with him about her taking over Joe Exotic Zoo.
So, really? Dr. Phil?
That is breaking. Yeah, that's breaking news.
Everyone thinks he's dead, okay, but he's just dead financially. Physically, okay, he's been hiding out in Boca Raton for the last eight months or so, and we're going to do a Zoom. I'm going to try to fly him out. The show's budget's been a little tight during this pandemic, which is, hey, do we shut down the country for a car accident? Do we shut down the country when someone pulls their dick out at a Chuck E. Cheese? The band still plays for Nathan's birthday party. So,
Hey,
very good point.
Hey, Dr. Phil, can you ask the husband where the bullet touched him?
Well, Adam, look, we will have an opportunity for fans to submit questions. But I think, and I'd love to practice that with you now because, I am an artist. And just like most performers, I know that you have prepared material for your shows. I do like to make sure my delivery of the question is good. So why don't you play Carol Baskin's dead, I put that in quotes, husband. He'll be sitting across from me and I'll ask him where the bullet touched him. Here we go.
Okay.
Well, I can't believe you're alive, but I also can because we booked you. How are you?
I've been better, Phil.
Well, I've got one important question for you that I think the world would like to know. Where did that bullet touch you?
In the temple.
Let me try it one more time because I know you heard it, but I didn't feel it. Where did that bullet touch you?
Initially under the arm, but it traveled through my heart.
Okay. Now, when the bullet touched you, okay, and there's been rumors about this, were you also simultaneously touching yourself? Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
Oh, you got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.